Hello out there. It's week 4 of the NFL, which means it's week 4 of the MCC, which means it's the week 4 edition of the MCC News. I am your host, 5-time MCC champion, Alan Morrow. Now let's get to the news. The week 3 rewind. Big high points this week. Jeremy with 156.02 points, which is by far our highest points of the season. It beats out Lee's week 1 week high of 132. So excellent for him. Our low points, Ben hit hard with some Rashid, Jamison Williams, and Ramondre Stevenson, very low scores. I think they only got maybe a point all combined. But he finished this with 67.88, which is the lowest of our year so far. For our closest matchup, we had Tyra beating Doug by 10.8 points, which is actually surprising that everyone won by at least double digits this week. Our biggest blowout, Jeremy over myself. Jeremy beat me by just under 60 points, 59.76. It was my wife's birthday week. For some reason, she gave all birthday touchdowns to my opponent, Jeremy, instead of me. Jeremy's team just piled it on over and over again. From Thursday with Garrett Wilson, Breece Hall to the end of the week. It was not a great week altogether. And with that brings us, only if I had a different schedule, this week goes to Doug. Doug would have beaten 8 other teams with a score of 125.5. Unfortunately, he faced Tyra, who I believe had his score was the second highest of the week with 136. But unfortunate for Doug. Hopefully better things going next week. Matchups of the week. We have a lot of matchups of the week. This week is kind of the theme. We have 2 teams that are currently 3-0 and 3 teams that are 0-3. We're at this point where most typically, especially for 0-3 teams, week 4 or week 5, you don't have a win by then. It's very hard to make the playoffs. Obviously, Jim puts that all to rest last year when he went from 0-8 to 6-8 and made the playoffs as that last seed. But here we have Gabe and Will. There are only 3-0 and 0-3 matchups, so somebody will be undefeated or winless still. So we're guaranteed that. That's wrong. That's just incredibly wrong by me, what I just said. But the next is Jim and myself. Then Tyra versus James, who is at 0-3. Then Lee faces Adam at 0-3. Fun fact, Lee has yet to beat opponent not named Will in his past 4 matchups, dating back to last season. So let's see if Lee can finally get a victory by someone that's not Will. Follow up from last week. Will is now 0-13 in his last 13 matchups against Lee. Just something else. All right, it's like someone new. This segment was birthed because of a stupid comment Tyra made in week 1. So Tyra gets it again, and this is because of him picking up Juwan Jennings. I think it was on Friday before the weekend. And then starting him in the starting lineup, he went on to score 41 points. Juwan Jennings scored 41 points, which was the difference against Doug. He beat Doug by 11. Basically, if Tyra played any other wide receiver, Tyra probably loses that matchup. So what a pickup. It's like someone new, Tyra. It's like someone new that he would be a game-winning or week-winning player that week. All right. Last but not least, Tyra's Fab Thoughts. Very weak Fab this week. Not much action. Our biggest bid was $5 for the Chiefs D, which myself, no other bids. Mike Kaczynski went to Schrader for $4. Vikings defense to Jim for $4. Roshan Johnson went to Will for $3, which was the only bid that we had that had multiple bids on it. I had a $3 bid as well because he was second in my listing. He was Will's number 1 guy, so Will ended up getting him over me. And then Aaron Rodgers went to Jim for $1, and then Tyra picked up Justin Fields for no dollars. Like I said, very weak Fab pickup this week. And then last but not least, let's go Lions. Fuck the Seahawks.